Hello everyone. So today we're going to be doing a full review and a test drive of this 2006 Opel Astra GTC. And special thanks to Heron Auto, Opel and Kia, situated in Donegal Town, County Donegal. For all contact information in regards to the dealership, please see the description box below. Okay, so we're going to get started on the test drive. This Astra in particular has 114,287 kilometers on the clock so far. Okay, so we're going to start the first part of this test drive out on the bypass. We'll see what it's like on power. Acceleration, that's for sure. Not bad, it makes quite a nice noise anyway. The engine itself is actually a 1.4 litre. It has about 90 horsepower and its top speed is 105 miles per hour. Opel say will do about 51 miles to the gallon, and it produces 92 foot-pounds of torque at 4,000 RPM. It's quite a nice motor actually. This here is actually the smallest engine you can get for the Astra GTC. You can also have the same engine, 1.4 of course, producing 100 horsepower. There are quite a good variety of engines. You can have the 1.6 and 1.8 and a turbocharged 2 litre with 3 different power outputs. The most powerful one being reserved of course for the high performance Astra OPC. I should mention the OPC Astra is of course based on this 3-door GTC, and about 2 years ago I actually drove an OPC Astra. I didn't actually get filming yet, but I promise I did do a test drive on it, and it was an excellent car and it was very powerful right up until the moment it ran out of petrol on this actual road, as a matter of fact. But anyway, back to the GTC. This particular one is an SXI, so it's high enough spec, and it's really nice to drive. It's very quiet in here. The engine is quite nice. It's smooth and it's just a lovely car to drive. And then there's the steering wheel on the 9 and 3 positions here. It's perforated leather, so it is. And it's got nice sporty thumb grips, really nice to use. The driving position of this car is quite nice, and I actually like these seats as well. There's a good amount of side bolstering on them. They're very supportive. It's quite nice to drive. So as far as the interior goes, it's actually quite a nice place to be. We just take a look inside here. Everything is nicely laid out. Everything is where you would expect it. You've got your standard headlight controls here with your 2 fog lamp controls. It's got nice sporty gauges. Love the red and white backing. Got your standard CD30 radio, which has very good sound quality from it, and your air conditioning controls, a little bit of storage here. So it's a power outlet. Decent sized glove box. And also I like this silver trim they've put around the dash and on the door panels. It has a nice checkered design to it. Again, adding to the overall sporty appeal of the GTC in particular. I suppose if there's one thing that puts me off this car a little bit, it's actually a minor complaint, it's just the screen here. I think it sits very far in the dash and it is a bit on the small side. But in saying that, the interior of this car is quite nice. As I said, everything is simple and where you'd expect it to be, nicely laid out. Nice steering wheel as well, perforated, and of course you got your multifunction controls. It also has sporty aluminium pedals with black rubber studs. In the back here, even with the driver's seat in my driving position, there is still quite a good amount of legroom and headroom back here. It is much more spacious than the body would lead you to believe. A lot of people would assume that the 5-door hatchback is much more spacious than the GTC. But as you can clearly see here, that is not the case. I don't even feel claustrophobic back here. It is a very roomy car. nice sound once you get over 4,000 RPM. This might be the smallest and weakest engine you can get for the GTC, but it is really, really nice to rev. It's a very nice sound as well. And the gear changes are another thing. This is a 5-speed manual transmission, and the gear changes are perfect, so they are nice and light and very quick shifting. So that's the power fun taken care of. It is really very good on that. So now we are going to take to the back roads and see what the overall ride quality is like. So right now we're going over a few bumpy bits on the back roads, and I will admit you can feel a few of these bumps coming through to the interior of the car, and you can actually feel and hear some of the vibrations. I don't know how well you're picking up the vibrations here on camera, but I can certainly feel them a little bit in here. I think part of the reason is down because this car has a torsion beam rear suspension. It also has an independent McPherson suspension. Now the last test drive I done, I said that I think the last car I actually was test driving was the 2011 Ford Focus. Now I made this clear when I was driving that car in these back roads, so that had a multi-link independence rear suspension. And I said it was excellent, so I did. I said that multi-link independents are brilliant, especially on these back roads, and that torsion beams are not so good. And right now I think my point has definitely been proven, as I can feel nearly every bump I go over. Now in saying that, I'm not trying to make out that this car is desperately uncomfortable. It's really not. It's actually quite decent. But I am saying that you do notice the difference with the rear suspensions. So if you're driving this Astra on a back road for any period of time, you would, you'd feel the bumps and knocks, so you would in here a little bit. But it's not too bad. A little bit of history on this particular car. This generation of the Astra is called the Astra H. It came out from 2004 and was produced until 2009. You could have just about any body style with this car. You could have it as a 5-door hatchback, a 3-door coupe like what we have here. You could have it as a 5-door state, a 4-door saloon. You could even have it as a 3-door panel van car. It was actually a commercial diesel. Well, it went under a few different names. I believe it was called the Vauxhall Astra in England. It was also marketed in the United States. Now, if any of my American viewers are watching this, maybe you can help me out. It was called over there the Saturn Astra, I believe. It did go under the Saturn brand name. I'm not sure how popular this car was over in the States. I never heard anyone talk about this car. I've never heard Americans mention it. I've even asked a few American friends, have you ever seen these cars in the United States? And they say, no, we've hardly ever seen them. So I'm not sure how good the sales were for this car abroad, but over here, it sold very well, so it did. And also this car was built on General Motors Delta platform. That's just a little bit of history. So we're just going to go into town now and take a quick drive around. We'll see how it performs. Just going about the town now, and it's quite nice to drive around here as well. It's very quiet, it's economical. This is where the Astras really perform very well with fuel economy, and all around rear visibility in this car is excellent as well. It's got very large rear windows, and because of course it's a 3-door, the rear side ones are much bigger than on the equivalent 5-door hatchback. And despite the sporty coupe styling of the car, rear visibility through that back window hasn't really been impaired too much. You do notice with a lot of these 3-door coupe type hatchbacks that the rear windows do be like that small and they're not very good for visibility. But this car is an exception, so it is. So I'm just on my way back to the dealership now, and I can sum up the GTC Astra very easily. This is a very good car. It's very good looking, it has a good engine, it's economical and with a decent amount of pulling power from it. It's lovely to drive, it's got a very nice interior, everything's very well laid out. I love the sporty gauges, it's got a nice steering wheel, and it has quite a good sized car will lead you to believe. This current GTC Astra now is for sale, I think, for about €7,500. I will list the price below. But overall, I can sum up this car as being excellent, economical, sporty, lovely to drive. You know, I can't really think of too many things to fault with it. I mean, I wish I could say some of the interior plastics felt kind of cheap, but the fact is, you know, they don't. It feels like a good quality Opel. So that's pretty much all I have to say. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this review and test drive. Please stay tuned, and there will be plenty more videos to come. Thanks for watching, everyone.